want to thank Clarissa and Peter for the roses too. They're just gorgeous. And so happy Valentine's to everybody. Holiday of love. I like it. I like it a lot. So today we're talking about being broken open, not broken. And last week we talked about Emerson, who observed that there's a crack in everything God has made, and God comes through the cracks. And so it's about closing our heart. And why do we do that? Why do we close our heart? Well, we close our heart because we're afraid of being hurt. We're afraid that something is going to get in there. We've maybe had a painful love relationship of some kind, or I know a lot of people who have lost dogs, and they say, "Oh, I'm never going to have another dog because it just hurts too much to lose them." And so we close our heart from fear of loss, fear of pain, and everybody tighten your hand here, just tighten your fist. And they say that your fist is about the size of your heart, and you just look at it and you see that nothing can get in there, and then tighten and tighten and tighten and tighten it. And then when you let go, just feel how wonderful that feels to have that release and to be open. We can't hold on tight to anything. It's like trying to drink water with your fist tight. The only way you can drink water is with an open hand. And the only way you can allow love is with an open heart. And yet, we keep trying to protect ourselves. We keep trying to guard against pain. And Reverend David Alt said, who's the senior minister of Atlanta, Georgia, says that this about the comparison between broken and broken open. Brokenness is not a destination. It is the inevitable, enveloping energy that slaps at the face and pounds at the gut to remind us we are vessels of feelings. But what do we do with these feelings, with this seeming irreparable mess that we are? Do we barricade ourselves from their raw presence, or do we learn to breathe with them and through them? All the while, learning that allowing them the space to flow through us, we go from someone who is broken to someone who is broken open. Vance Havner, who is an author, stated, "God uses broken things. It takes broken soil to produce a crop, broken clouds to give rain, broken grain to give bread, and broken bread to give strength." Being broken open revives us. It creates within us a spaciousness that did not exist before. The poet Rumi said, "The wound is the place where light enters you. Our brokenness is the place where this leading light can penetrate through us and shine itself upon us, all of the strengths, talents, and possibilities we've forgotten were in us." There's a story about a young girl who was blind, and she hated her blindness. She hated everybody and everything except for her boyfriend, who was so loving and supportive of her, who was always supportive of her. But she hated everything because she was blind. And she said finally, if I could see, then I would marry him. But I hate being blind, and I hate thinking of being married. And in a short time, there was a donor available, and her vision was restored. And then she discovered that her boyfriend was blind. And she sent him away because she hated the blindness. And in a short period of time, she received a note. And the note said, in effect, take good care of my eyes. So we're like that, I think. We are blind to the gifts that we have, blind to the power that we have. And the universe is like her lover, who just gives and gives and gives. And all we have to do is receive it. But when we're shut off and shut down and refuse the gifts that the divine has given us, then truly we are blind. When we try to create from our hearts, from our brains, when we try to create from our brains, from our heads, we're creating from our history. We're renumerating and going over all of the things that we've thought before in the past. Our brains have nothing new to offer. It's only cycling through the past. Our hearts are where we create from. You are an infinite potential. The only way you can explore that potential is with an open heart. Your heart doesn't figure it out. It knows. And when you listen to your heart, it only tells you the next creative step. Listening to our heart is like using our GPS to drive from here to Florida. Our GPS doesn't tell us all of the turns and the twists and the map of how to get to Florida. The GPS of our heart only tells us one step at a time. It knows. Trusting our heart and taking the next right step with an open heart allows us to be creative. So you can trust your heart because it knows. Rumi has a poem that I'd like to share with you. I'm sure many of you have heard it before. It's called The Guest House. This being human, he says, is a guest house. Every morning a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness, some momentary awareness that comes at an unexpected, like an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they are a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture. Still, treat each as a guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice. Meet them at the door, laughing, and invite them in. Be grateful for whatever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from the beyond. Trust your heart. There's a woman named Karen Talavera who writes a blog, and this is a piece that I wanted to share with you. It's Change and Chaos Precede Peace. Change and chaos precede peace. Why do we need to be broken open? Simply because as we shift and view the external evidence of often chaotic or tumultuous change in the world at large, there will be immense fear, apprehension, and unsettledness. It's there in spades already. Just watch CNN for an hour. We run the risk of being trapped in a downward thought spiral getting stuck, trying to stay secure, or paralyzed in the point that our hearts are not rent accessible. We might never muster the courage to let our own light, our own purposes pass through them and into the world. Without the broken open hearts, we each run the risk of shutting our heart off for good. At this moment, our world needs all of the light, all of the love, and all of the open hearts it can get, including yours, and especially yours. So if you feel the rift, if you're moving through life feeling broken open, I invite you to allow the superb poignancy of the process to permeate you at every level. And know that it is exactly what it's supposed to be. It's happening the way that it is supposed to happen. It won't level you. It will, in the end, buoy you. Do not be dissuaded by these outer shows of quick transformation and chaos. They are exactly that. Shows as colorful as a peacock displaying a feathery dance. Part of the reason so many are struggling with or without resisting the shift is that the change is occurring at a pace previously unknown to us. We're not used to it yet, and we sure as heck aren't comfortable with it. It helps to remember that the natural state of the universe is to be constantly in motion, not at rest. So change rather than stability is actually the norm. We, in our limited human experience, simply have never been able to perceive the constant motion. But as sure as electrons circle around atomic nuclei, it is there. Let the peacock strut. Let the peacock strut its feathers if it wants. And remember, you're here to enjoy rather than to stop the show. I invite you to adjust your expectations. Expect more change, not less. Learn to find comfort in uncomfortable times, or better yet, to become comfortable, or at least familiar with discomfort. Let me read that again. And better yet, to become comfortable, or at least familiar with discomfort. Learn to surf rather than paddle, so you can effortlessly ride on rather than in the current. It's astonishing, isn't it? How much energy we expend trying to keep our hearts from breaking. Thing is, it's wasted energy. And worse, it keeps you distant from your depth, from your core, your animal, your natural humanity. It keeps you distant from everyone, from everything. We're meant to be broken. We are meant to be broken, to be shredded, molten, burst open, to come into compassion and exquisite empathy and love for everything. That is the divine intention. God intends for the brokenness so that the light can shine through. The world is screaming for you to let your heart break. To be fully human is to let your heart break over and over. Being broken open is what it means to be deliciously human. Rainier Rilke said, "Let everything happen to you, beauty and terror. Let everything happen to you, beauty and terror. Just keep going. No feeling is final." So we are intended to be in change, to be in flux, to be in brokenness, because that's the way that life flows through us. And when we lock our hearts against it, when we close our heart and we don't allow the pain or the joy of our humanness to flow through, then we miss our human experience. Truly and sincerely, it is all good, even the hurt and the pain. We are intended to be broken open so that we can love, so that we can be creative, so we can stand in our power. So I invite you at this moment to open your heart, to know that I love you, each and every one of you. Namaste. Kate, join me as we move into that place that is creative. I invite you to attend to your heart. To make a conscious effort now of letting it break open and letting the light of the divine shine in through the cracks. Take your attention off your conscious thinking and move it into that warm space and place of your heart. Allow the doors to be open. Allow the channel to be free. And know that the whole universe is saying yes to thee. Be grateful for the gifts of the pain and the sorrow and the sadness. Knowing that those experiences are heart expansive, heart breaking open. When we resist, we become broken. When we allow, we become broken open. We become available to love, to empathy, to generosity, to kindness, to goodness, and to joy. I invite you at this moment, at this time, to release your resistance. To be available for the light of God to shine through the broken spaces in your heart. To shine and bring you peace and warmth into your heart. Healing what needs to be healed. Blessing what needs to be blessed. And open to what needs to be expressed. It is all good. Even the broken open heart. And for that awareness